Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 5 of the Manchester United Realistic Career Mode. Thank you everyone who left a comment on any of my previous episodes. I've been reading them and I think a lot of you don't agree that telling someone like Anthony Martial was particularly that realistic of an option. It was just a way to get someone like Gakpo in, who I think is maybe a little bit more fun to watch on FIFA Career Mode. So do forgive me for that one, but hopefully going forwards we can have a fully realistic career mode. So let's have a look what's happening in today's episode. The first match we'll be playing is against St Johnstone. We got a couple of games in the Premier League against Everton and Brentford, I believe. We'll play Sociedad in the Europa League, and then finally we've got a nice long match against Liverpool where we live commentaried, and that's at the very end of this episode. So stick around if you're interested in watching any of that. But you can see we're putting out a pretty rotated team here for this Europa League game against St Johnstone from Scotland. I think it's an okay match to rotate our squad for because they've not got the best squad themselves. Our reserves are probably better than their first team. But let's see how we get on in this Europa League group stage match. If we win this, we're pretty much through to the next round. So let's hope we can get those 3 points against St Johnstone. Not too much actually happened really in the first half an hour. That's why we skipped straight to the 26th minute. But Matty Cash would win the ball upfield. Chipped it into Gakpo. He nearly turned and volleyed it in. That would have been a nice goal. But yeah, not on this occasion, thankfully for the Scottish team. Next up would be Palestri playing out in the wing. He decides he can't cut inside, so he pulls it back to Cash. Cash to Casemiro to McTominay on the edge of the box. Only over the bar on this occasion, but it was a decent opportunity from us. Even better though was Eriksson finding Gakpo after half time. Gakpo one-on-one. The rebound fell to him. He headed it over the goalkeeper, but it was cleared off the line by Matthews. That was a really good chance, and honestly, probably the best chance of the game so far. We don't get too many against St Johnstone, to be honest. They're the away team and they're pretty much parking the bus. You can see they've got 2 lines of 5 players right there. We don't have too much chance of actually getting in behind them, which is our strength with the pace that we have. No one on our team has more pace than Gakpo, and he would be the creator playing it through to Palestri. He would beat his defender by running into his legs. Could he pull it back to Gakpo? Well, he'd have a second try. It would come to McTominay. His shot only straight at Matthews in the goal. Obviously, a big part of our advantage is having people like Marcus Rashford we can bring on off the bench. Bruno would find him. He's playing against a Scottish League defender. He turns him inside, gets a shot away from the edge of the box. Another good save from Matthews. This guy is having one of the best performances of his career, I imagine. But Rashford has way too much pace for the left back there. He cuts inside once, he cuts outside, he cuts back inside. Can he pull it back? Bruno's there, but it just goes in between Bruno and Gakpo. So unfortunately for us, no chance on this occasion, but great interception there from Casemiro. Gakpo through one-on-one, and after 89 minutes of trying our hardest to break down St Johnstone, Gakpo finally manages to be the difference. What a pass through that was from Sancho, and that's exactly how the game would finish, 1-0. A surprisingly tough game. It probably shouldn't have been that tough, but we did manage to struggle out a win, and that basically meant no matter what happens in the next 2 games, we were through to the round of 16 in the Europa League. Brentford were the next team to visit Manchester United's Old Trafford. It's going to be a bit of a tougher game this one than playing against a Scottish League team, but we knew we had the ability and we knew we could hurt Brentford where it mattered. Anthony's probably been our player of the season. He's been a consistent threat so far. Him and Fernandes would have a couple of chances where the ball would just keep rebounding to us, but unfortunately for us, we couldn't do anything with the shots. Anthony would actually then be losing the ball in the next little highlight after just half an hour had passed. With no Ivan Toney up front, Brentford aren't quite as lethal in the box, and Brian Mbeumo showed exactly where they needed Ivan Toney right there. Him in the box would probably be finishing that shot off, but unfortunately for them this time, only the post could be found. We decided to press a little bit higher and go more for the attack, and Rashford would find Sancho. Through one-on-one, Sancho would be hitting it straight into Raya. I mean, you've got to be scoring those kind of chances. Our one-on-ones really not doing too well in this series so far. With just 5 minutes left, Varane would be intercepting the ball in midfield, finding Bruno to Gakpo, and Gakpo's shot easily could have gone in the far corner there, but unfortunately for us, it was just another great save. With only their second real attack of the game, half a minute after the game probably should have ended, Brentford would score, and that would be it. 1-0 is how this game would end. A very cruel way for us to lose this one. In my opinion, we absolutely dominated in everything that mattered. We had more possession, we had more shots, we had better XG, we had better average overall ratings. But of course, the only stat that really matters is goals scored, and we absolutely lost that one 1-0. Next up was a trip to Goodison Park to play Everton. A fairly local match, of course, this one. We didn't have to travel too far. We'd have the first chance after 15 minutes. Rashford getting the ball from Fernandes. Fernandes back. He tried to unleash a volley, but unfortunately just got intercepted before he could do it. Rashford would have the next chance as well. He had more pace than Patterson. He had more pace than Tarkowski through one-on-one. He tried to chip the goalkeeper, but only found at the top of the net. Gakpo found himself through in a one-on-one against Patterson again. The young defender, though, defended really well and just intercepted it, passed it back to Pickford. Everton's only real chance in the first 50 minutes came from that free kick, and that was pretty awful, if I do say so myself. We were having some pretty good chances, though, here. Eriksen using some of his dribbling and his pace. He's probably playing against a centre-back combination where he's actually faster than both of them for the first time this season. Shaw would get it out wide. Gakpo would get tripped, and then, unfortunately, nothing would be given for that. Our last chance came from this free kick where Eriksen would try and smash it, and then he would play it out to Rashford. Rashford to Casemiro, back to Rashford. If he can beat his man, he's through, and unfortunately for us, he couldn't beat his man. But the game would end 0-0. Probably the most boring match of the season so far. Everton have a pretty decent squad now. They've improved with like Rui Diaz up front, who's an alright striker, but still, we should be expecting to win that kind of game. Sociedad up next, and they definitely have improved at striker with Callum Wilson and Ivan Toney up front. Despite this, we still felt like we had a much stronger team, so we were definitely going for the win in this one. Win this, we're basically finishing first in our group, which I think means we get seeded for the next round, so we'll be playing against a slightly easier opponent. Cash would bring the first chance, a low cross across the box. Gakpo's turn and volley would unfortunately go out for a throw-in, but it still proved we could be lethal. We were making chances basically at will for this first half an hour. Luke Shaw to Rashford, back to Luke Shaw, back to Rashford, and back to Luke Shaw. Can he get the cross in now, Luke Shaw? He can. Back post, Anthony, not quite good enough in the air. Gakpo would be through one-on-one. He'd try and chip it like Rashford did against Everton, but nothing would happen. And then at that point, it seemed like Sociedad would just park the bus. There'd be no real chances until the 75th minute, where there would be a couple of passing chances here for them on the edge of the box from a corner. David Silva, of course, playing defensive midfielder. Ozyarabal would hit it out, but Varane would keep it in, and we would then go on the attack of ourselves. Casemiro out to Garnacho. The young player tries to beat his man. I think he kind of did. Back to Casemiro, though. If he can find Matty Cash out wide, finds Garnacho again. Garnacho on the edge of the box, tackled by David Silva. And that was our last attack of the game. So again, another boring 0-0. Two pretty bad games back to back, but they did secure us points in both the Europa League and the Premier League, so we can't complain too much. But now it was time for the big one, the game against Liverpool, and we're actually going to live commentate that. So I'm going to pass you over to me in the past, where I live commentated this game as we progress. So let's get straight over to that. So now it's time for one of the biggest games of the season, away to Liverpool, of course playing at Anfield. We're going to skip the press conference because we don't really need to do that. Let's have a look at the squad they've picked. They've got a couple of tired midfielders there in Thiago and Artur. Let's see what we can put out, because we've got a very tired team of our own. Maybe Garnacho on the left. Although I'm thinking maybe Sancho on the left. We can then put Bruno in attacking midfield. In defence midfield, McTominay's been decent. Gakpo's got a bit of stamina. Anthony Varane's looking tired, so maybe Maguire and Martinez. And we're playing Malacia as our left back. But let's get started. Anthony Taylor is the referee for this massive derby game. Of course, two of the most famous English sides of all time playing against each other. Anfield's looking amazing, as always. Of course, cool fact about Anfield is that it's one of the closest stadiums in the Premier League to another Premier League stadium. Big rivalry with Everton, but I think the Manchester rivalry is probably a little bit bigger. So Klopp against Ten Hag. You've even got a bald Darwin Núñez playing. Let's see how we can get on in this one. So, here we go. Liverpool against Manchester United. You can hear Never Walk Alone bellowing out from the fans. One of the coolest sights in football, of course, watching that kind of performance. Shame they're not so loud throughout the rest of the match, but, you know, Liverpool are Liverpool. They'll do as they like. So let's get started straight away. Anthony on the ball trying to beat Robinson. Yeah, he's not getting past him that easily. One of the best left-backs in the world, of course. It's going to be a very tough game for us, this one, I think. Although if Robertson keeps doing passes like that, maybe it'll be a bit easier. Gakpo, can he get it out? Anthony. It's Anthony against Van Dijk. Has he got the pace to get past him? I think he would have done, but not quite the strength. And if he had a little bit of a head start, I think he gets past him there. But good start, I guess. We've had a couple of early touches of the ball, which when we're the away team, don't really expect against Liverpool. let's hope we can progress and actually play pretty well throughout this entire match. Robertson getting on the ball again. He's been on it quite a lot early on in this game. Play it out to Diaz, playing on the left wing, of course, not having Mane this season. Big loss for Manchester United. Oh, Casemiro nearly got that through to Gakpo. Close one. Oh, a long shot already from... Oh, rebounded to Nunez in the box. Bald Nunez, of course, still not got his real face in FIFA, but thankfully for us, he only hits it wide. Maguire playing centre-back today, of course, instead of a very tired Varane, and that's a poor pass from Cash, but we just about get there in time, tube it back out to him, and Cash wants it back. He's running down the wing. Can he get it out to Anthony? Can. Anthony cuts inside. Robertson gets there first. And there's a big gap there between our centre-backs, but thankfully Martinez has the strength on Nunez. I wouldn't have expected that, but, you know, well done from him. Cash can't beat Robertson. Annoying. Diaz again. Oh, Martinez has been beaten, has he? No, he gets back at him. Causes a bad pass, and Robertson then intercepts it from Anthony. A lot of action so far. I've not really stopped talking this entire match, which is pretty rare for a game of FIFA, but that's the kind of rivalry that this kind of game gives you, you know, high octane, a lot of good players, a lot of activity going on. Sancho playing out to Malacia. You've got Gakpo in the middle, low cross maybe. Oh, Van Dijk intercepts it, gets it away, but we're going to get this back. McTominay, of course, always going to be good in the air. That's a big reason why I prefer him to Fred, and that pass was absolutely dreadful trying to get out to Cash, and it's going to be a throw-in to Liverpool. Anthony intercepted no from the throw-in. Can he beat his man? He can. He's got a man over. On the volley. Oh, that could have been a goal. Was he offside anyway? I think Bruno was offside. But what a pass that was. Let's see how close this is. Oh, he is offside. It's very close. But probably should be putting that one away. That was a fairly good chance. It was a really good pass as well, to be fair. But still 0-0. McTominay in a lot of space here. Anthony's got a nice run. Right, he's in behind here. Tries to beat his man. Oh, he could have easily gone down there. Been a penalty, but somehow Van Dijk gets away with it. Good bit of play though. Some big spaces opening up where Thiago and Arthur don't have quite the pace and physicality of our midfield. So that's definitely going to be somewhere we can hurt Liverpool. Can Sancho find Gakpo? Oh, it's intercepted again by Van Dijk. Ashing a lot of space out wide. Gets the ball in again. We do a lot of crosses, so maybe we do need to invest in a taller striker. I'm thinking, you might have seen on my other channel where I've mentioned Tammy Abraham as a possible signing. Let me know if you guys have any suggested signings. I know Benjamin Sesko would be a good option as well. Good interception there from Maguire, stopping that attack. As we press the wrong button and just kick it straight off the pitch. Anthony looks for Gakpo. Can he get past Kanate? He can. Alisson's there, he's chipped him. He's been brought down, but the ball goes wide. That was a really good chance there. Good run from Gakpo. What a ball it was from Anthony. Somehow he beat not only Kanate, but also Van Dijk for pace. And, I mean, that chip was pretty solid, if I'm being honest. It could have easily been a goal, but still somehow, just before half-time, 0-0. We're having all the good chances in this one, so hopefully we can keep this up for the rest of the game. So that's half-time. We've made some really good chances in this game so far. I think the expected goals will be in our favour compared to Liverpool. Can't remember too many of their chances actually ending up on target. They've had 2 shots the same as us, so it's exactly the same. But feels like we've been through on goal maybe twice, and they've had a couple of long shots. Really good game so far, though. Enjoying this one. Anfield, really nice ground to be playing football, and Liverpool, a really good quality rival to be playing against as well. So second half's going to be very good. Hopefully we can get the winner though, and maybe get a 1-0, maybe a 2-1 here or there, depending on how things go, but let's see how we get on. So we've noticed that Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't the fastest. We do have Marcus Rashford, who is a bit faster than Sanchez, that we can bring on, so I think we're going to do that. We're going to put Casemiro up there because he's running out of stamina, and then we're going to swap him out for Rashford. On the other side, Anthony's looking a bit tired, so maybe bring on Garnacho. Up front, we haven't really got too many options. That's one of the weak parts of our squad. We haven't brought Asmoon with us, unfortunately, as Maguire's doing a bit of a weird dance there. Let's see if we can get past Trent and maybe get past Robertson on the other wing, although I'm not expecting Garnacho to do too much against probably the best left-back in the world. Cash has been beaten. Robertson's got it on the edge of the box. Gives it to Jota. Ooh, good effort there from Liverpool. I think it was Henderson with a shot in the end, but well saved by De Gea. Our clearance is intercepted, but we get it back straight away. Now it's time for Rashford. This is what we wanted. We want him one-on-one against Trent because his pace is so much better. Oh, but he's not quite fast enough to keep that in, unfortunately. That's exactly what we want. We want Trent versus Rashford as long as we can. He's nearly got in again there. Man, this is turning into a bit of a chance fest for us right now. Liverpool again just doing long shots. It's all they seem to be able to do. So we've got some good chances of getting a goal here. Oh, the Liverpool press has done us there. Fabinho winning it all the way up the pitch. Oh, it's just 2 passes, and then I think it's Jota who's just slotted it in. Oh my god, the press. I wasn't expecting it. We couldn't get the ball out of our feet. Jota's celebrating with Klopp, and Liverpool, the fans are going wild. 1-0 up against Manchester United at home. Martinez just got caught with the ball at his feet. He couldn't get it out. He was trying to get it to De Gea. And that's an easy goal for Liverpool. As easy as they can get, really. So it's all down to us to try and get an equaliser now. Oh, we've got a big bit of space here, though. Malasia's in. Can he get the ball pulled back to Gakpo? He does. Gakpo! He's done 2 shots. Couldn't really see where the ball went. And then an acrobatic clearance keeps us from getting a corner, I think. Ooh, we need to maybe go a bit more attacking for these last 15 minutes and see if we can press, get our own chances, playing like Klopp does. Salah's got past Malacia. He's got enough pace to sort of press him again, but Salah's in the box. Maguire's pushed him over, and Jota again. Oh my god, we're falling apart here. We were on a bit of a good run. We had a lot of good results in a row. Jota's doing the gamer celebration. Oh my god, 2-0 now. I think that's pretty much game done. I wouldn't expect us to come back from this one, unfortunately, but we played actually really well in the first half, and it's just as soon as they brought Jota on for Diaz, they just had a bit more press, and they were a bit faster on the ball. We've basically stopped Salah and Nunez from doing anything, but yeah, as soon as they brought on Henderson, Jota, there's a bit more work rate in their team, and it was pretty easy for them to press us. But we got a couple of minutes, maybe we can get 1 goal back at least and make it a bit more of a respectable score. We'll have to see. And here is Rashford. He's got past Trent. He's got Van Dijk next, but no, can't get past Van Dijk. He tried to do a trick, a step over inside, but couldn't quite pull it off. We've got Fred telling Ten Hag what to do. Maybe he's a future manager. Oh, Maguire nearly got his head on that, though. That would have been a grandstand finish almost, but Diaz has a huge amount of space here. Malasia's got like no stamina. He can't keep up. I think we've got Martinez in the middle. Don't let Jota get a hat-trick. Fabinho, I don't know why he's trying to hit that, but thankfully he did. Can we get this around the corner? Not quite, unfortunately. Salah in a huge amount of space again. We played him offside, thank God. 2 or 3 minutes left of this game now, and it's not going too well for us, is it? Malacia, Rashford, we've got McTominay running in behind. I guess he's gone up front to use some of his height. And Alisson will kick it away, and I think that'll pretty much be the last time we'll really have an attack unless we can do something here. We can't. So that's going to be Jota, Diaz. Firmino's come on now. It's 4 against 1, 4 against 3 at the back. If he plays that across, it's an awful cross. That was pretty much a guaranteed goal if he had any kind of class on the ball. But 2-0 away to Liverpool. Really bad result, honestly. Klopp is loving it, of course, as you'd expect. I don't imagine Ten Hag's going to be running on the pitch cheering. Trent had a decent game. Even when we tried to exploit his pace, we couldn't get around him. But yeah, 2-0, a rivalry loss. That's not going to do the fans much good. We're not going to be too happy in the eyes of the fans. Twitter's going to be blowing up on us tonight. But let's have a quick look at the league before we end today's episode, because I know it's been quite a long one. Let's have a look where we are in the table and then the Premier League. So we're in 8th at the minute. We've had a pretty terrible start when you think about it. Aston Villa up there, West Ham up there. Liverpool are probably going to win the league. I mean, look at their stats there. They've done really well. But we've sort of turned it around over the last couple of weeks. So fingers crossed we can keep the form up and just put this Liverpool game out of our heads. And then we've got some good games in the next episode. We've got another rivalry game against Leeds. Aston Villa doing well. West Ham doing well. Hopefully 2 games we can win at the end of the week there. And then an Arsenal, which is a bit of a rivalry as well. And then that's the January transfer window, which we'll have at the end of next episode as well. So we'll probably play up until about the 13th in the next episode. So let me know who you want me to sign in January. Let me know who you think I should sell. And yeah, thank you all for your support on this channel. It's grown quite a lot recently, so thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Cheers and goodbye.